Wow, this is a new low. Not very funny, but funny kind of in a cynical, dark way, in a dark humor way. Apparently, you cannot ask for someone to speak English in the UK. If you were to do so, that could be considered a crime, a hate crime. This is one of the reasons why I'm glad I'm in America, and I'm glad that at least I have the First Amendment. I could say that. I know there's a lot of people that want to get rid of that. But I'm glad we still have that for right now anyway. But this is real. This is real. The police have nothing better to do but to approach an elderly, partially deaf man to tell him how it is wrong for him to ask someone to speak English, because that could be considered a hate crime. And in this video, when I put it on the screen, please note the officer who's doing this. Because police officers are not your friends. They're not. You might run into a cop that's nice. Okay, that happens at times. But at the end of it all, like, they are the arm of the law. They're going to be executing the laws, whether they agree with them or not. If they're pushed to do it, they will do it. Now, sometimes you might run into an officer that might be nice, might be kind of lenient, might look the other way, whatever. Okay, but sometimes you get the ones that are like, they have no other choice, but they're going to go along with it. And following those actions is a choice, by the way, on the officer's part. Okay, they're choosing to enforce laws that they don't even themselves agree with. Okay, they're doing that because it's their livelihood, it's their job on the line. Okay, and the cop in this video cannot look any more boorish. Okay, let me put this on the screen here. This is what I'm talking about. Let me make it bigger. If you know who Ethan Ralph is, a character I talk a lot on this channel, like the similarities between Ethan Ralph and this British police officer that's I guess giving this old man a hard time, the similarities are pretty rich. Anyway, let's play it.
Apparently during some conversations between yourself, apparently you've alleged, and we weren't here, so I don't know you said it, but you've alleged to say, speak English, or was that effect?
Speak clearly.
Speak clearly.
No,
okay.
the gentleman's partially deaf.
Yeah, he
Okay.
can speak clearly.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even hear him.
No, and that's fine, and that's why we've just come to speak.
So the gentleman's partially deaf. He couldn't even hear clearly, right? So he's like, speak clearly. Or maybe it could be speak English. But if it was speak English, this is what the officer says.
Because potentially someone could perceive that as a hate crime.
A hate crime.
No, I know.
People, if someone says to me, officer, I believe this, then...
I know, like the man in the background is like, I cannot believe this happened. I cannot believe this happened. Well, it has happened because you guys have allowed it to happen with, I don't know much about how you guys vote in politicians or whatever y'all do, but clearly those that govern you do not have the same interest that you guys do, and they want to punish you if you were to say anything remotely offensive at all. You are ran by a bunch of Karens, okay, ultra Karens. Good luck. It might be too late.
We need to look at it because someone's potentially reporting to me apparently.
Wow. So there you have it. A very boorish police officer just doing his job, right? Just going to the old man and tell him, hey, we heard a report that you told someone to speak English. And if you told someone to speak English, that's a hate crime. It's like, what are we talking about? What? That's a hate crime? Like, what if someone's talking to you and they're talking to you in some Pakistani nonsense, okay? I say it that way because I don't speak that. He's not expecting me to learn that. I thought it's multiculturalism, right? Like, hey, you know what? Why don't you speak the language I know? Or why do you understand the language I know? You know what? Screw that. Let's just have, you know what? F off. At that point, it's like, you know what? I'm going to ask you to speak English. If you want to talk to me, you could speak English, or you can just not talk to me. If you want me to understand what it is you are saying to me, speak English. Speak the language I understand. And if you have a problem with that, well, you could shove your problems up your, and that's the mentality I have with this. But there's other people. I guarantee you, there's people out probably on Reddit that will defend the, I guess, the enforcement on this, because they're a bunch of Karens, a busybody hall monitor Karens that get off on just being so petty with their freaking power. It is so annoying. It is so annoying. It's like, you know what? How about, because what's going to happen is the response to this is like, well, this is dumb, and if you can, just get someone in there that can reverse these, get rid of this law and then reverse the law to where, you know what, we're going to have a defined language, a defined, a national language, and that is expected for anyone who comes in here, comes into our home, comes into our country to learn. If you can't assimilate, don't come here. You know, that's expected. I would understand. I think that's reasonable. If you can't assimilate into the country's culture that you are entering, like just the language, okay, the bare minimum, the language, then like, why are you here? Then why are you here? You want to reap the benefits of a first world nation, what it offers, because it's very generous with its money. It's very generous with its money, which is really, the government's money is not the government's money. It's your money. It is your money that you've given to them. So the government is very generous with your money, giving it to others that come in here who don't even think they need to learn the language, because don't worry, the government will make sure that if anyone tells them to speak English, oh, they'll be arrested. Oh, they'll be accused of a hate crime. You know, they'll have to go through the whole legal system and all that. Yeah, this is what you have, man. This is why you got to be tough. I know some people say like it's an asshole move, a dick move. Sometimes you got to be like that. Sometimes you got to be like the dad in charge and be like, no. If you're not gonna at least learn the language here, if you're not gonna at least try to assimilate, and at least be a little bit grateful that you're in this country, okay, that's able to generously offer you things on the behalf of on the back of those that work hard and pay into the system, then F off. It's not a free freaking ride, dude. It's just not. And you get these bunch of stupid Karens, most of them on Reddit, who come in and like defend them, right? You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But they'll defend it because they're not the ones who pay into it. They're not the ones who do anything like that. You know, they want the free ride too. You know. Anyway, all that rant spun by this dumb interaction, very dumb interaction that did not need to happen. While this was happening, what are the chances that some Arab guy was getting a little frisky with some British girl, huh? What are the chances that happened? Yeah. I mean, if you guys want to take your country back, you might have to just stop wasting time and do it the way they did. I was gonna say the French style, but no, whatever. Anyway, this is it. It sucks, man. It sucks seeing this. I don't know what you would do. You just have to take the power back, man. With that said, you guys take it easy and have a good one.